A very good evening to all the participants. First of all, I thank Bala sir for organizing this 5 days workshop on data analysis using SPSS. And also, I wish all the participants to enrich their knowledge from this session for the next 5 days. And you can develop your knowledge regarding your data analysis in the research area. So with this welcome note, I just want to start the session of the day one. So as per the program schedule, we'll be discussing the different analysis on each day. Okay, rather than giving instructions about the statistics, SPSS, I think everyone knows about the basic things about the statistics in SPSS. Okay, but before going to the analysis, today I will just give you some insights about the basic statistics and about the SPSS just for 5 to 10 minutes. And then you will start the what is the technique that you are going to discuss today and hands-on training on those techniques. Okay, so as per the program schedule, today we'll be discussing about the multiple regression analysis. That is the first technique that we are going to discuss today. And tomorrow we will be discussing about the ANOVA. And the third day will be the man whitening. And fourth day will be the Kruskal Valley test. And the final day will be the factor analysis. Okay, so just I will share my screen. Yes, I think screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir. Proceed.
Yes. Okay. So the today's session is on multiple regression analysis. As per the schedule, today we'll be discussing about the multiple linear regression analysis. Before that, I just want to tell, okay, what is SPSS? Basically, you people know about the basic things about what is SPSS, what is meant by statistics, why we have to use statistics, all those things. But before going to the multiple regression analysis, just we will see what is SPSS, how the SPSS window will look, and what are the analysis you can do with the SPSS. Okay, so it is a social statistical package for the social science, and it is a kind of a software where you need to give a data as an input. Okay, it is like an Excel you can do, but similarly from the Excel also you can import the data to SPSS. But for SPSS, you need a certain way of giving a data with the help of the coding. We need to assume the coding. Okay, like if there are different scales out there, you have learned nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio, scale. So according to that, we need to give a coding for each data in the SPSS. Only that kind of data can be taken to the SPSS. Okay, otherwise simply if you're giving the data, whatever the data you're giving in the SPSS, it will give the output. But the major thing is how we are going to interpret it. How we are going to interpret it. That is very important factor. Okay, so statistical analysis, what are the data that you're going to input, given as input, for that we are going to do the statistical analysis. And here in the research, you have to know the basic concept like what is variable. Okay, you know everyone knows about the variable, which we can able to measure. Okay, and then the scale. Okay, under each variable, we need to allocate the scales also, like whether this variable is coming under the ordinal scale or nominal scale, or it's just like an interval scale, like that. And then for every variable, we need to have some hypothesis, right? Because why we are doing SPSS, we need to test the data that we are collected from the sample, from the population, and we need to give an interpretation whether the data is reliable or not, whether the data is giving a proper relationship between the variables that you are going to measure for your research work. So for those things, you need to have a hypothesis. Hypothesis is like an assumption. We need to prove that whether this relationship is there or not, whether is there any association is there or not, whether this variable is significant to this dependent variable, or whether is there any relationship between dependent and independent variable. So like that, you can give an assumption. That is an hypothesis. And based on the assumptions, we will give the data input, we will give the data as input in the SPSS, and from that we will get the output table, right? From the output table only we need to give the interpretation. So when you're giving interpretation from the output table here in SPSS, we need to see the significant level. Please remember, when you are doing the manual calculation with the statistical analysis, you will be comparing the calculated value along with the tabulated value, right? But here in SPSS, we need to compare the significant value, which is also called as a p value. In every output table, there will be a significant value, p value, that we need to compare with the 0.05 or 0.01, which level it is greater than or less than. According to that, we need to give an interpretation for our hypothesis. Okay, so the data that we are getting, okay, as an output, that output will inform us, will give a Assumption will give an interpretation that whether the variable or the data that we have collected is reliable or not, whether it has any validity or not, whether it is significant or not, whether it is association is there or not. All those things we can discuss. That is what the SPSS. So in SPSS, this is a scale. It's already told you, right? There are 4 types of scales. When you enter the data, the SPSS, the last column, it will ask you which kind of scale it is, whether it is a nominal scale or ordinal scale or interval or ratio. So most probably, if you're asking the gender and giving male and female. Similarly, for age also some, right? Age below 20. So my voice is audible, sir?
Yes.
So, yeah, okay, ma'am. Thank you. Maybe the network issue. Okay, fine. So nominal. So when you are collecting the data to the qualitative information, most probably the demographic factors. Okay, the most probably the demographic factors, right? That you have a nominal scale. Because we are nominating, right? 1 is male, 2 is female. If you're taking a marital status, 1 is married, 2 is unmarried. So when your data consists of a qualitative information, most probably for the demographic factors, we'll be assuming the nominal. At the same time, if you come to the variable, sir, I just asked the variable regarding the satisfaction level of the employees regarding the working environment, or satisfaction level of the patient regarding the COVID vaccination. So if they are giving that, you are asking them to nominate a rate or ranking from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 or 1 to 7. So when you are asking me to nominate from 1 to 5, you are giving the value for that. You are giving the information like 1 is highly satisfied, 2 is satisfied, 3 is moderate, 4 is dissatisfied, 5 is highly dissatisfied. Like that, you are asking to nominate the value for each qualitative information for the respective variable. So when you are doing in that cases, you need to mention it's a nominal scale, right? You have to mention as a nominal scale. And then the ordinal scale. Ordinal scale, mostly probably the rating, like rating and ranking, rate from 1 to 5, like less than, higher than, or excellent, poor, like that. And intervals, like you will give a intervals like a continuous value, right? Most probably the continuous variable from 1 to 10, 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, like that. So those kinds of values comes on the interval scale. And then ratio scale. The ratio scale 1:3, 3:4, or 1:2 in that ratio scale. So most probably, if you take the laboratory experiments and if you're dealing with the quantitative informations, okay, like a range, okay, from the lower range to the higher range, okay, from this much percentage to this much percentage. When you're dealing with this kind of information, most probably you will be dealing with interval and ratio scale. But whereas in social science research, our study, social science research, most probably we will be using a nominal and ordinal. Okay, most probably the laboratory experiments and any data, any informations along with the quantitative information, like lot of mathematical data are there, quantitative information. In that cases, you may go with the interval or ratio scale. But not in all the cases we will be using that, but most probably if you take SPSS, we will be using a nominal or ordinal scale.
Somu sir, sorry to
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think your side network is slightly slow, so you can disable the video so that upload speed would be better.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, now is it fine, right? Okay, so this is a appropriate statistic scale that you need to use in the SPSS. Is it clear? Okay, so these are the analysis you can do. See, for the nominal scale, you can use a chi-square analysis, Cramer's, and then even you can use a two-tailed chi-square binomial test. Like that, you can do a different kinds of test according to the type of variable and then type of scale. It is not that, sir, I just taken this data, I'm going to use a nominal scale. It is not like that. Okay, that's why there is a different kinds of data, like metric data, non-metric data. It is nothing but the qualitative data and the quantitative data. Qualitative data most probably deals with the alphabets, right? Gender, male, female, marital status, education, 10th, 12th, UG degree, PG degree. So in that cases, you need to go for a nominal scale. You need to nominate. And suppose if your variable consists of the attributes like highly satisfied, satisfied, from excellent to poor, or from some other values, very high, high, moderate, low, very low. In that category, you need to nominate the value for each attributes, and then you have to substitute in the SPSS. Then only it will accept. Okay. Now I think the scale is clear. When you work out the data and the SPSS, you will come to know. This is a testing of hypothesis. We have two different testing, right? Parametric, non-parametric. Most probably everyone knows about. If you learn the basic statistics, definitely it will be there. Under parametric test, we can do all the t-test, z-test, f-test, and ANOVA. Under t-test also, we have a one sample t-test, paired t-test, independent sample t-test. All these things has been covered in the previous workshop. If anybody is there, okay, the participants from the previous workshop, they will come. They are already known this. Okay, but we are not going to cover this because these are the basic statistical analysis in the SPSS. And whatever things that we are going to discuss today is it's a part of a non-parametric test and multivariate analysis. Okay, so this is kind of a test, you can use it. And this is very, very important. Already I shared the PPT. Okay, I think you have gone through the PPT. This is very, very important because why I'm saying is there are some people you may misunderstood the concept of the p-value. Why I'm saying is when you are doing the statistical analysis manually, okay, you need to compare the calculated value along with the table value. Table value in the sense is you will have a table value for chi-square, okay, and then f-test, all those things. So you have to compare with that for a particular degree of freedom, what is the value in the particular table. So when you are comparing that, when it is less than value, the calculated value is less than value, we will be accepting the null hypothesis. And when the calculated value is greater than the tabulated value, we will reject the null hypothesis. This is the case when you are doing the analysis for the data manually. Manual analysis for the collected data. If you are doing that, when your calculated value is less than the table value, it will be, you have to accept the null hypothesis. When your calculated value is greater than the table value, you will reject the null hypothesis in case of manual analysis by using the formula and your substituting value and finding it. But in SPSS, it is reverse. From the output table, you are finding p value, significant value is given, which is 0.012 or 0.0, which is less than 0.05. So when the p-value or significant value is less than 0.05 from the output table that you got in SPSS, we need to reject the null hypothesis, not accept. Clear? We have to reject the null hypothesis when the significant value is less than the 0.05 or 0.01, whatever it is. If the significant value is greater than 0.05, then you have to accept the null hypothesis. That's why I told you this is the reverse case in manual analysis. Manual analysis, less than means accept, greater than means reject. In SPSS analysis, less than means reject, greater than means accept. You are clear? This should be, you should be very, very careful in this significant value because many people will misunderstood by comparing the manual analysis and the SPSS analysis. Okay, the same, but it is like a reverse process. Okay, and you can ask, you may have a question, sir, then how about the interpretation? You can cross check. Interpretation will be the same. When you do manual analysis and you're interpreting, accepting the null hypothesis, you are interpreting that. And similarly, when you're doing the same data, when you're doing the analysis for the same data in the SPSS, okay, the interpretations will be the same. Even though you're accepting or rejecting, but the conclusion, interpretation will be the same. Okay, we can check when we are working out the data, we can check that. So this is very important. You need to remember this. And the next thing is, this is a SPSS manual view. I know, I think everyone knows about how the SPSS window will look. This is a SPSS window. There are two views are there in the SPSS. One is a variable view, which is very, very important. Here you need to enter all the details about your variables. For example, see the name. There is a column name. you can enter the variable name in a short form. Okay, and the type, what is it, sir? It's a qualitative information. If you are entering the number, you can mention number, otherwise you can mention string. And then the width indicates the number of characters that you can type in the name column. And the decimal, most probably when you are typing the variables and giving the data, variables should not be decimals value, we no need to enter. But sometimes when your data deals with the decimal value, for example, you measure the what is the time taken by the 10 athletics or 10 students in the 100-meter run. Okay, in the 100-meter running race. Okay, so in that cases, what you can do? You can give, sir, after decimal also, I need, after point also, I need 2 more values also. In that cases, if you're giving a decimal 2 or 3, after decimal, how many points are there? That is also will be there in the data view. And the label, you can see the label value. The voice is clear. Okay. It's clear. Okay, I think it's clear for some people, or some people it's not clear. Maybe some network issue. Okay, so if you're facing any difficulties, tell me, I'll repeat the step, no problem. Okay, so in the decimal, okay, after decimal, I need 2 values, I need 3 values. So you can adjust in the decimal column. If you're giving decimal as a 2, after the point, whatever the values are there, the 2 digits will display in the data view. Okay, and the label column, you can enter the entire name of the variable. You can type the full name of the variable. And then the values, if you are nominating some values, like for example, if you are giving gender, so in the values case, 1 should be male, 2 should be female. Like that, you can assume the value. And missing some columns, all those things, missing value when you are collecting the data. Okay, out of 500 respondents, 300 respondents, a few people has missed some question. Or sometimes when you are collecting the data, you may get missing data. In that, you can mention the missing data. Otherwise, better you can remove that. Okay, don't need to consider as a sample for your research to avoid the confusion. And the column size, and then the alignment, and then the measure, and the finally it's a roll. Okay, measure is a scale. Okay, which scale you are going to use it. So like that, there is a variable view, and then this is a data view. Whatever the variable view that you entered in the variable column, all the variable names will be listed in the data view column. See the top, the first row, variable will be there. So what are the variable you're entering the variable name? It will be mentioned here. For example, you are typing the first variable as a gender. Here gender will be there. Second will be the age will be there. So the name of the variable will display here. So this is a variable and data view, and I told you, right, I explained you a view. Okay, I'll repeat now. There are 2 views out there, variable view and then data view. In the variable view only, we need to enter all the variables. Okay, sir, in single SPSS file, in single SPSS sheet, you can enter n number of variables, sir. There is no restriction. It is not that, sir, I need to enter a 30, 40 question means you can enter. So I collected 40, 50 questions, questionnaire means you can enter all the 50 variables in the single SPSS. Not a problem. Okay, so in the variable view, there are different columns are there. Name column indicates the name of your variable, where you have to enter in a short form. It will not take a lengthy variable name, and also it will not accept any space. It will not accept any other characters except the alphabets in the name column. And then type, what is that characteristic type? Whether it is a number or alphabets, or it's a date, or it's a currency, what kind of type of data it is, that you can choose from that. Width is the number of characters that you can dealing with the data with the decimal points. That's what I told you. For example, sir, I want to get the data. I want to do the analysis for the 20 students of our college who has participated in the 100-meter running race. I want to know their time taken by all those 20 students, and the time taken. Some people, they may take 5 minutes or 10 minutes for a 200-meter or 700-meter running race. There are some 2 students will be the same time. For those people, for those people, what you can do? I need to know after the decimal also what is the seconds they are taken. In that cases, you can adjust the decimal value here and you can enter the values, and then the label is the full name of your variable, the entire name of your variable. You can type the lengthy variable, and the values, what are the values you are going to assume, nominate. Okay, if you are not assuming any values, any numbers, no need to enter that, no need to give any value. For example, marks of the student. So marks of the 10 students will be the different category, right? Okay, marks of the 10 students, they are given in a different category, 20, 35, 46, 42, 45, 55, like that. So in that cases, we cannot assume one is this, two is this. We cannot do that. So in that case, leave that column blank. Okay, and then missing value, when you have any missing data, all those things. I didn't change the slide, ma'am. I'm just explaining the variable view because one participant requested to explain the view. And then the column alignment is like a left or right element, measurement is a scale. Okay, and then the second view is data. Now in the variable view, whatever the variables that you are entered, right? For example, you entered 15 variables: gender, age, satisfaction, working environment, performance appraisal, training method, working hours, working time, all those things you enter. Those names will be displayed in the data view in the first row. Where the VAR is mentioned, there it will be placed. Okay. Is it clear now, sir? Now this is the explanation. What are the explanation I gave you here? This is the explanation. I told you, right? In the variable view, you need to enter the name only in the short form. Okay, you can increase the character. You can increase the character based on the adjustment in the width, but no space, no symbols. Only to take alphabet character in the name column. And the type of variables, according to the variable that you're typing in the name column, you can choose. Sir, I'm going to enter the date. Then you have to choose date here. I'm given a name variable as a currency. Then you have to choose currency here. Like that, you can choose the variable, and the width, you can adjust the number of character. Decimal, it is depend upon your data. And the next one is a label. Now you can enter the complete variable name. Why I'm saying is, sir, when you're doing analysis, if you're giving the same name in the name column, it will not accept. The same name, it will not accept the name column. You have to give the different name. When you're giving a different name, you can, if you want to know the difference between the first and the second variable, in order to identify the difference in the label column, you need to enter the complete variable name, so that when you're doing analysis, you can understand. First variable talks about working environment. Second variable talks about the performance appraisal. Third variable talks about the satisfaction level towards the training method. Like that, you can differentiate when you are going for analysis part. And then the values, I told you, right, depend upon the variables that you're entering into the name column. If you want to nominate, you can nominate the value. One is male, two is female, or one is yes, two is no. One is highly satisfied, two is satisfied, three is moderate. Like that, you can do. And missing, already I told you, column, alignment, measurement, that's the scale you have to choose here. And whatever the data that you enter, it will be there in the data view. Okay, now is it clear about the view of the SPSS? Because this is very important. Without knowing this, you cannot enter the data in the SPSS sheet. Now these are some of the shortcut. Okay, you can go through because PPT is already there. And whenever you are working on the SPSS file, when you are saving the file name .SPSS, you have to save in that manner. And similarly, output, if you want to save the output file name or the output of the respective analysis, regression output, chi-square output .SAV. This is the way how you can save the SPSS file. And these are the shortcuts keys. Sir, I had entered 500 variables. Okay, and then in the 500 variables, 320th variable I entered wrong. You can insert one variable and you can edit that, or you can delete the 320 variable and you can insert one more variable. Okay. Okay, maybe we just wait for a minute. It may be a network issue. So shortcut keys, you can insert the variable and you can replace the values of variables also by clicking. There is an edit column in the SPSS. If you go to edit column, insert case will be there, insert variable will be there, replace will be there. And suppose, sir, I entered 2000 datas. Okay, for I have 50 variables, but I collected a 2000 sample. I want to go to the particular sample size. So I want to go to the, and you can go to click edit, go to particular case and go to particular variable. Like that, you can choose. Okay, so these shortcut keys are just for your reference. Okay, you can work out on those things. Because if you explain all those things, it will be take time. You can go through. All the options are available in the edit column, data column. It is there. So when I'm working out, I'll explain you. No worries. Okay. Now, this is analysis part. Sir, what are the analysis are available, sir? See, if you want to do mean, median, mode, all this skewness, kurtosis calculation.
Sir, voice is breaking.
There is a analyze.
Sir, your voice
column.
is not in a good
Okay,
session.
there is an option called analyze in the descriptive statistics. And if you want to do one way ANOVA, two way ANOVA, analyze.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Your voice is breaking, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Maybe the network issue. Yes, okay, ma'am. I'll rectify this, ma'am. So just a minute, I'll rectify the network issue.
Sir, now it is okay, sir.
Also, it's showing unstable, and then coming back.
Now it is okay, sir. You can proceed.
Okay, sir. Yes. So ANOVA, you can
Sir, again,
choose
sir,
from
again, voice is breaking.
analyze, compare means, and the two-way ANOVA from the general linear model. White. Yes, sir. Okay, so then I'll wait. So I'll disconnect and I'll connect it again, sir.
Yeah, sir. Please
Wait,
disconnect
sir.
and reconnect, sir. Please. Participant, please wait for 2
Yes,
minutes.
sir.
Sir will disconnect and reconnect.
Okay, sir.
Sir, you can disconnect and reconnect, sir.
So now is it audible, sir?
Sir, when you are presenting,
Yes, sir.
it is getting disturbed. Normal voice is okay. I think bandwidth is the problem. Anyway, sir, you can
Okay,
proceed.
okay.
Now it is not a problem. You can proceed.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sorry for the technical issues. Okay, so these are the analysis part. Okay, I just included this slide to know. Okay, you may ask, sir, how to do chi-square, how to do ANOVA. Okay, but anyway, we are going to discuss. But chi-square descriptive statistics, the basic analysis and all. Please go through this slide so that you can identify which analysis are there in which option. Everything are available in the analyze option. There you have to choose one by one. Okay. And this is a Kruskal value, correlation, regression, all those things. And even you can do binomial test, even you can do reliability analysis, factor analysis, even people those are working in the corporates and who want to do the quality control, even they can do with the help of SPSS. Okay, so this is what the basic things that I want to show. Okay, now we'll move on to the analysis today. So today, as per the schedule, we have discussed about the multiple regression analysis. Everyone knows that what you mean by regression analysis, right? So regression analysis is just like a analysis which is used to find out the relationship between the two variables. Okay, what is the difference between correlation and regression, sir? See, in the correlation, both are is there to find out the relationship. But for correlation, you can have dependent or independent variable, whatever it is. Okay, but for regression, definitely when you are measuring the relationship between the two variable, one variable should be the dependent variable and another variable should be the independent variable. Please understand that. Correlation, you can find out the relationship between the two variable, either dependent or independent, whereas multiple regression analysis, when you're dealing with the regression, there should be one dependent, one independent for regression, which is called as a linear regression analysis also. Now, multiple regressionists, there should be a one dependent and there should be two or more independent. When you have this kind of variables in your questionnaire, okay, in your study research area, you can use this multiple regression. So for example, you may have some research model with you, right? Sir, I want to measure the satisfaction level of the job of the employees, which is depend upon various factors. Right, your job satisfaction is not depend upon only on the salary. It is depend upon the salary, depend upon the working time, depend upon the responsibility, depend upon the working environment, depend upon the relationship with your superior. Like that, there are various independent variables out there. So your job satisfactions depend upon various independent variable. In that case, you can use this multiple regression analysis. Okay, it is just to find out the relationship, impact. Okay, whether there is the impact of dependent variable on this many independent variable. You can able to identify, you can able to predict the relationship, whether is there any significance between this dependent and many independent variable. That is called as a multiple regression analysis. Now you understood the basic meaning of what is regression analysis, right? Okay. So see the two variables, if you're having a two variables, you can use simple or linear regression. If you're having a more than two variable, but when you're having more than two variable, in that one variable should be dependent, remaining variable should be independent. It is not that, sir, I can have one independent, I can have many dependent. No. You cannot do regression analysis. No need to do. You can do any analysis in the SPSS, it will give output, but the interpretation that you're going to give is wrong. So for multiple regression analysis, you need to have a more than two variable. In that, what one variable should be definitely a dependent variable. The remaining variables, either it's a two variable or three or 5 or 10 variables can be independent variable. But one dependent variable should be there for multiple regression analysis. Okay, and basically, you know the regression equation y equal to alpha plus bx. Okay, where y is a dependent variable that depends upon the independent variable x, and depend upon the all this coefficient constant. Whereas in multiple regression, it goes on like this: y dependent variable is dependent upon many independent variable, like x1 is a one independent variable, x2 is a one independent variable, x3, x4. It's like that. It goes on. So in multiple regression, one dependent variable is related to many independent variables. That is the equation that indicates all this beta 1, beta 2, beta 0, all these are the coefficient for that regression. When you see the output table, you can able to understand. Yes, okay. Now, sir, when to use this multiple regression, as I already told you, definitely one dependent variable that should be a continuous variable. One dependent variable should be there and two or more independent variables should be there. And where you can use this, where you can find out this multiple regression, go to analyze for regression. There will be a linear regression. Go there, and there you have to choose some option. You have to enable some options in statistics, save option, all those things. And the variables, usually we will do only enter method. Okay, backward forward method and all, it is like for a factor. When you are doing a factor analysis, when you want to confirm some factors, and after confirming some factor, if you want to explore those factor, in that case also you can apply multiple regression. But when you are applying that, you have to use backward and forward method. Otherwise, basically, whenever you are doing a regression analysis with one dependent, many independent variable, the variables method will be enter only. It is mandatory. Okay, and then there is a lot of options that you can choose if you want to get a residual plot. A residual plot means whether all the variables are lying in the same quadrant. If you want to get that graphical representation, you can go with the residual analysis, collinearity and normality plots also. You can, if you want, you can take that, you can enable that option. Okay, this is a way how you can use this multiple regression. And interpretation. So interpretations, you are, by looking all this output table, you can interpret. Usually from the multiple regression analysis, we'll be interpreting by using R square, adjusted R square. Only this, by using this three value, it should be more than 0.7. If it is more than 0.7, then definitely the variables that you are used in your research study, dependent and independent variable, they are significant and they are having a relationship. If your R adjusted R value, R square value, if all these three values are greater than 0.7, then your variables are having a very good relationship. That means the variable, the data that you have collected, its goodness for fit. Your model is good. Okay, that is the way how you have to interpret. I will show you how to write the interpretation also. And this is a model analysis. I told you, right? R square, R adjusted R square. You have to, by seeing this value only, we can interpret in the further regression. Right? And when your F value should be greater than 10, and also T value and the P value should be either greater than or 0.05 or less than 0.05. Based on that, you can conclude. You can give interpretation based on the hypothesis or based on the variable that you are using. Clear? And another important interpretation is a multicollinearity. Okay, multicollinearity in the sense is whether there is a interrelationship of your two variables. Okay, if you want to find out, sir, this variable is, voice is just adjusted all this network problem.
Sir, voice is clear. You can proceed. I think.
Okay, sir. Okay.
That side might be a problem.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, fine.
Come kindly check your network. Voice is clear.
So multicollinearity. So multicollinearity in the sense is, sir, I want to find out, yes, for this dependent variable, these are the independent variables which exactly match. Okay, all this continuous dependent variable and the predicted variable are highly interrelated. When you can conclude that means when your value is regression coefficient value is 0.90. Okay, so that is called as a multicollinearity. Sometimes there are some researchers, what they will do is they will randomly take the variables, whatever the paper article that they are reviewed, randomly they will select. In that case, multicollinearity will not be there. Sorry, it will not be more than that value. So if you want to check the multicollinearity, sir, I have taken a independent variable, exact variable from a research study. So if you check this multicollinearity, you can prove that. Okay. And then the multicollinearity, see, if it is less than 3, definitely no multicollinearity at all. Greater than 3, there is a multicollinearity. Greater than 5, high multicollinearity. And greater than 10, Okay, you are taken an exact variable which is required for your study. That means all the predicted and the dependent variable are exactly perfectly suited for your research study. Your model is good for fit. That is how you have to interpret. So now see, for example, I have just given this here, how to interpret. See, for example, I have taken one variable called sales. So sales of the product of any company, if you take, definitely depend upon various independent factor, right? Maybe depend upon the advertisement strategy, advertisement method, depend upon the demand for the particular product in the particular location, depend upon the attractiveness of the product model or flavor or design, whatever it is like that. They can take n number of independent variables. So after taking sales as a dependent variable and focusing on many individual variables like advertising, demand, attractiveness, there you can prove that. So after doing that analysis, you will get the value. So from that value, see how they are interpreting. This is the equation I told you, right? Y equal to alpha plus bx. That means y, the dependent variable is dependent upon the independent variable. So beta 1 x1, beta 2 x2. So beta 1, this 0.08 is the coefficient. So this equation is written like this. And here they are indicating, they are giving the interpretation C. So this, from this equation, you can interpret. That means advertisement. So the sales is depend upon advertisements, and demand is good and the attractiveness is good, where they have to increase advertisement. That means the advertisement strategy is very, very less. That means the investments made by the company is very less in the advertisement, even though there is a lot of demand, even though your product attracts the customer, but you need to give more number of advertisement. More number of advertisements you have to give because it is very, very less. See, 0.08. Right, it is very, very less than 3. Multicollinearity. If you check a multicollinearity, this advertisement variable doesn't give a proper relationship. That means the effort or the investment or the budget that you allocated for advertisement very, very less. Okay, so like that you can interpret. We will go to the data now so that I can write the interpretations and then I can explain it. Okay, now we will go for interpretation, hands-on training. So this is the data, right? We have a different kinds of different datas, okay, based on the variables. One is family. There are 10 families out there, and they are given the 3 variables. One is expenses about the family. What is the annual expenses of the particular family? First family, they are taking 5.2, that means 1000. And the second family, 5.1, third family, 5.6, like that they're given. Second value, the second variable is what is the income of those family, also annual income. And also they are given the number of people in the respective family. Okay, now you can tell me which is dependent variable, which is independent variable out of this 3 variable. Can anyone? Which is dependent variable and which are all the independent variable? There are 3 variables are there: expenses, income, family size.
Annual food expenditure is the dependent variable.
Sir, food expenditure is dependent.
Food expenditure is dependent. Okay, good ma'am, good, thank you. So your expenses, basically, sir, how I will spend my expenses is depend upon my income. So if I'm getting 1000 rupees per day, definitely I will spend 300 or 400 in that 1000. If I'm getting 500, I will spend only 100. Or if I'm getting 200 per day, I will not spend any expenses. So my expenses depend upon the income. At the same time, your expenses depend upon the family size also, right? So very good. As ma'am told that expenses is the dependent variable, which depend upon other 2 independent variable, which is called income and family size. Clear now? Okay. Now
Sir,
I'll
income and family size both are independent.
variable. Yes, ma'am. Independent. Both are independent variable.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Now I will share the data sets. Already I sent the data sets also. Wait a minute. It's opening. Yes. Okay. Now I think you can see the data set. Okay, now can you see the SPSS window?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yes, now first you should enter go to the variable view. See, first there are three variables I told you, right? There are three variables. Okay, one is expenses, another one is income, and then family size. Okay, but here I mentioned the family just to know that how many families are there. Otherwise, no need to enter that because the number of families is not on a variable. We're not going to do anything with that. So first I had entered expenses. Okay, I just given a short form exp, and it is a numeric, and with it is you can adjust this with like this. See, okay. Otherwise, I will type one more time expenses. Okay, this is a numeric. You can adjust this camera, and the expenses will not be any decimal, right? Whatever the values are available in the table, they are given in a point, right? 5.1, 5.2. So after see the data. Yes, 5.2, 5.1. Expenses given as a 5.2, 5.1. So after the decimal, we need that one more value also. So we can give 1. Suppose if you are giving 0 and you are entering 5.1 in the data view, it will take only 5 because in decimal column you gave 0. Sir, I need 5.1. After the decimal, I need that value 1 also mean. Then here you have to give decimal 1, and that is annual expenses. You can type annual expenses of the family. And the values, we are not going to give any values here. We are not nominating anything because expenses of 10 families are different. Each and every family have their own expenses. So we are not going to give any value. So we are not going to do anything with that column. And then missing value, there is no missing value. And the columns, right alignment, all those things. Scale. Now we have to give the scale because see, scale, ordinal. Whether this is a nominal, no, because we didn't nominate. We didn't say that 1 equal to this variable, 2 equal to this variable. We didn't say. So we cannot give nominate. And ordinal, the data that we have, we don't have the ordinal data also because they didn't give the range. Okay, they gave the direct value. So whenever you're getting the value directly for each variable, you should mention as a scale. And the role is you're going to give an input. Clear now? Now the second variable is what? Income. So type income. This is also numeric and width is same. If you want to reduce the width, you can reduce, no problem. And the decimal in the income, we don't have any decimal value, right? We will go through the data. Yes, they given 28, 26, 32. So no decimal. So we can make it as a 0. Click the down arrow, you can make it a 0. Then you can type annual income of the family. You can type the full name of the variable, see, so that it is easy for you to understand when you're going for analysis part, right? Okay, and then the values here also we're not going to give value because each and every family have got their own income. Okay, that income value differs. So no value, no missing everything. And here measure, you have to choose scale again. Now the third one is what? Size. That means the family size. See, already it is exist. So size, I'll put SI. And it is numeric. There is no decimal value because family size will be round number, right? 1 family, 2 family, 2 members, 3 members. So now the family size. And then no value. All these things are same. And finally scale. Now, did you understood this? How to enter the variables?
Sir, can you explain once again in short, please?
Sir,
Okay, ma'am. Yes,
sir,
sir.
what is the meaning of width here?
Width, you can adjust
Excuse
the
me,
character.
sir. Please show the previous slide.
Just a minute. No, I'll clarify your doubts one by one. First question is width is like an adjustment of your character, sir. For example, sir, here in the name column, I want to enter satisfaction, which talks about the 11 word, right? Okay, so when you want to adjust the variable name, you can adjust the width so that you can increase the number of characters here. Okay,
I didn't
it
get,
fine,
sir,
sir?
actually. No, sir, I didn't get. Can you
Sir.
please say?
Sir, in the name variable, You are entering the variable of the name, right? In the name column here. For example, satisfaction.
Excuse me, sir. That's why I'm asking. Previous slide, please show me. Tabular columns.
Tabular column, ma'am.
Previous slide, sir.
The data you are asking.
Yes, sir. Family size, expenditure.
Wait a minute, just a minute, because I shared this SPSS window. So if you want to share the PPT, I need to close this and I need to share. Wait just a minute. I'll explain that. Sir, here you are typing the satisfaction now, sir. Like that, if you want to adjust this number of character, you can adjust this width. But basically, mandatorily, the width size will be 8 only. If you want to adjust, sir, I want more than 8. I'm going to enter the letter with 15 words, with 12 words. You can adjust the width here. It is just like adjusting the character of your variable name. Number of characters of your variable name. That is the meaning of that. Okay, that is not that much difference with that. Yeah, that's why I told you better. See, whatever the variable name that you're typing in the label column, that only will display in the analysis part. So name column, just for our reference, we can make it a short. See, exp. So okay, say sometimes when you're entering the variable name called experience, here you will type again exp. When you type, it will not accept. In that case, what you can do, sir, I will type this as expense, expensc, and I will type this as exp. So you can make your variable name in a short form in the name column, but in the label column here, in the label column, you have to enter the full variable name, annual food expenditure of the family, work satisfaction level of the employees regarding working environment. Like that, you can enter the full variable name. No problem. Okay. Yes. Then any other doubts? Now is it clear with the variable view column?
So the scale I couldn't understand. I'm sorry to say.
Scale is no problem, ma'am. No, scale means, I told you right, nominal scale means, for example, you are entering the variable called the gender. Gender, we cannot collect the data, gender in terms of a quantitative information, right?
Yes, sir.
Gender optional is male or female.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so okay, male or female. So in that case, when you are giving male or female, for example, now I'll explain the same thing, gender, and make it as a 0, and here I'm just typing gender of the employees. Okay, now I'm not giving anything here, and I'm giving value scale like that. If you go to the data view, it will ask gender now. See the gender. Here I cannot type male, female, male, female. If it is a 10 sample, 20 samples, okay, we can manage. Think you are collected 500 samples. For 500 samples, from that you identify that 330 people are male, and the remaining 270 people, 170 people are female. Then you have to keep on type male, male, male for 330 column. So to avoid that, only what they are saying, here there is a value, right? Here you click that. Once again, I'll explain. Here there is a small box will be the icon. Click that. It will ask what is the value you're going to nominate. Now you nominate 1. 1. What is the label that you're going to nominate? Sir, 1 is male. You add that. And 2, you give female. And you add that. So now here you are nominated.
Yes.
You are nominated 1 as a male, 2 as a female. Now if you give okay, here we need to select nominal.
Okay.
Then go to the data view. Now here you type 11111 like this, and 22222 like this, 20 samples. For example, take 20 samples. Okay, that's it. Now after entering this, here there will be the icon like this. If you keep your cursor there, it will mention value labels. If you click this value label, if you enable, it will show here.
Okay. Thank you.
So that is the easiest job to reduce our time. It is the easiest job that we are using nominal scale. And similarly, not only for gender, whenever you are using any variable and nominating the value, for example, satisfaction level, And the satisfaction level, you may ask with 5 criteria, 5 attributes: highly satisfied, satisfied. You cannot type highly satisfied for 30 people. In that case, what you can do, again, you click this value, give 1 highly satisfied, add, give 2 satisfied, add, 3 moderate, give satisfied, add, like that you can give. Okay, and the scaling, why scaling is whenever you are entering the data in the data view. See now here income, there is no grouping for income, right? Because the income for all the 10 families are different, differs. So what we will do is in data view, we will enter the income separately, whatever the income we got. Now see the expenses, we got 5.2, right? So 5.2, and then 5.1. We are going to enter the data directly. That's why we are choosing as a scale.
Okay.
Similarly, when you are entering the marks of the student, 10 students will get 10 different marks.
Yes.
So we need to enter the 10 marks. In that case, you need to choose scale 1, 11.3, and next 8.1, and next 7.8, and then 5.8. Yeah, okay, ma'am. And then 5.1, 5.1, and then 18.0. Now see, so whatever the data I entered after the decimal, it is there because in the variable view, we gave the decimal as 1. Suppose now I'll see, now I adjust the decimal point, I will make it as a 0. Now go to the data view. You can see only the 5, 5, 6, 5, that's all. You will not see the value after the decimal. That's why you can do the adjustments here in the decimal column. Give 1 so that you can view the exact value. Now the income is 28 and 26 and 32 and 24 and 54 and 59, 44, 30, 40. This is the income, and then size. What is the family size? So it's 3, 3. 2 members are there, 1 members are there, 4 members are there, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3. So now I entered the data. Okay, now I entered the data based on the data that I collected. Now there is a column, right? See in the top, you have file, you have edit. I told you, right? You can go to the shortcut keys like edit, insert variable, insert cases, go to cases. All these things are there. You can use this. Okay, and the data, you can insert you can sort out the cases, sort out the variable, all those things, and analyze. For every analysis, we need to go to the analyze column. Go to analyze. I told you, right? Now regression. Go to regression and choose the linear regression. Now this window will be open. Now, what is a dependent variable? You people told, you told that, everyone told that, sir, expenses is a dependent variable, right? Expenses is the dependent variable. So where is expenses? This is expenses, annual expenses. Click this and click this arrow mark. It will shift to the particular column. Once again, I'll repeat. Go to analyze regression. This is IBM 20 and 21. The same options will be there. Whereas in SPSS 16, most probably the same option will be there. Only few options will be updated in SPSS 16 and 20. Okay, SPSS 16 is the old version. 21 is a new version. So regression, analyze regression, choose linear, and whatever the variables that you are entered in the variable view, all the variables are listed here. See, all the variables are listed here. So now you have to choose the annual expenses. Click that and click this arrow mark. It will move on to the respective column, dependent variable. Now, what is the 2 independent variable? Income and family size is a 2 independent variable. So we are taking income. At the same time, press your control key in the tab, and again you choose this family size so that both variables will be selected together. Otherwise, you can do 1 by 1 also, no issue. Annual income, give the arrow mark, and family size, again give this arrow mark. So now you are selected the which is dependent variable, which is independent variable. All right. Okay. Now what are things? See, method, enter method will be, it's a norm common, mandatory, it will be there. Go to the statistics. Okay, already it is there. We need R square. And if you want to get a model fit also, you can get a model fit. Suppose if you are changing the intervals level, confidence level, 95 or 90%, that you can do it. But most probably as a researcher, we will follow 95% only. So R square descriptive statistics, you can choose and give continue and go to the plots. Suppose if you want to do any plots, histogram plot I need means you can choose. Okay, you continue. It is not that every time you have to choose histogram. It is depend upon your research, how you want to present it. But the major outcome is we need to get the regression output table. And then you can choose unstandardized, standardized, adjusted value, and then yes, remaining things we know it. Okay. And we can go with the continue. Give continue. And options, most probably not be there anything. Just give continue and that's it. Okay. So clear. Now in the statistics, we need to choose R square chain. And in the plot, you can choose histogram. And in the save option, you can choose unstandardized, standardized, adjusted square. That's it. And give OK, you will get the output column. See output column, you got it right. Now see output, you will get this 3 tables. One is, this is a regression table. It will show which is a dependent variable and which is the variable that you enter. And then this is the output table, regression output table. See R value, R square, adjusted R square. And similarly, see
Sir,
the F
sir,
value.
sir,
Yes, sir.
are you showing the output table now?
Yeah, nothing is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, that is not visible here, sir. Only the
Okay,
all
okay.
data
Fine.
is there.
Okay, I will share that. Now is it visible?
No, sir.
Sir, it came for a second and went.
Yes, now.
Yeah. 1 minute, sir. It is getting shared. Yeah, sir. Now is it?
Yes. Okay. See, once if you give that okay, you will get the output window like this. In the first table, it will show which are all the variables that you are entered. And you will get the 3 more tables. With this 3 more tables only, we need to give the inference. Usually, we will take this regression table and ANOVA table for interpretation. This coefficient is just to know that what is the beta value, regression coefficient, right? See, minus 2.58, and the independent variable coefficient is 0.194. Family size is 0.88. See, from this coefficient, we can see which one is having high impact. Instead of annual income, family size. So your expenses is totally majority of the relationship is between the expenses and the family size. Not even the income also. Income you can earn, but whatever that income you are earning, the expenses that you are spending is not only depend upon the income. There is another major factor called family size. See this beta coefficient value 0.883, which is highest than the 0.194. So from this also you can derive that equation. But this is for a linear regression we will do. But from multiple regression, take this 2 value. This is a first table. You can copy this first table and see this R square, adjusted R square. By using this 3 value only, we need to interpret. And next ANOVA table, F value. F value is highest value, greater than 10. We got 31.746 greater than 10. And now this is called significant value. That is P value. Now P value, tell me, this is less than or greater than? Significant value 0.00 is less than?
Less than.
Less than 0.05. Yes, ma'am. It is less than 0.05. Therefore, what we have to do? Okay, we can accept, we can reject null hypothesis. Okay, so after this, I just
We have to
share
reject?
the. Yes, ma'am, but actually the regression, we will be concluding with the R square adjusted value, and we will be identifying which variables having a high dependence. Like that only we need to conclude. We need to have a hypothesis. Yeah, I'll just stop sharing this output table and I'll go to the PPT now. Because in the PPT, I had given the inference. Now we got the value right from the output table. This is how we have to make. And independent variable is what? Annual income. Annual income and family size independent, like that you have to interpret. And then the overall model explains 69%. Just a minute. Now it's fine. Overall model is 69%. That means in the output table, I'll just wait. Copy the output table and I'll paste it here in the going for a new slide, and I'll copy the output table here. So this is output table we got, right? Yes. Now the R value is 0.94, R square value is 0.9, adjusted R square is 0.872. All the values are greater than 0.7. Of it or not. So R value is what? We got 0.9, right? 0.94 something. 949. 949. That means 94%. 94% your model is good. That means yes, your dependent variable expenses is depend upon that two independent variable. Therefore, and similarly, see the F statistics. What is the F value here? We got 30. I will copy that output ANOVA output table also. That output ANOVA output table also you have to copy for regression, for interpretation. And just 5 to 10 minutes we will take. Yes. Now this is ANOVA table, right? ANOVA table, what is the F value? See, 30. Okay, greater than 10. So F statistics shows higher value. Therefore, model is fit for further interpretation. And then significant value, we got 0.00, right? Which is less than 0.05 at 5% of significant, and indicate that independent variable as positive and significant on dependent variable. Is it clear now? Like that, you need to interpret
Yes,
for
sir.
multiple regression analysis. And if you're going for linear regression, you can write the equation y equal to, here y is expenses. So annual expenses equal to, the first value is there. No, I will share the output table. I think you can see the output table. Yes. See, y equal to the constant minus 2.58 plus 0.194 into income plus 0.883 into family size. Like that, you can write regression equation also, and you can interpret. Sir, here the dependent variable family size is highly correlated. Okay, and it is intercorrelated with the expenses. Usually, for example, okay, if I am earning 20,000, that 20,000 expenses is depend upon not only on the 20,000, but most probably depend upon what? Family size, right? Suppose you are having kids. Okay, if one kids or two kids are there, then expenses will be more, even though if your salary is 20,000. Think you don't have a kids, you have a adolescent guy, like one boy or one girl whose age is 17 or 18. That much expenses will not be there. So your family expenses is highly interrelated with the family size, the independent variable, compared to annual income. Like that, you can interpret for the linear regression. If you want to express your output in terms of regression equation, in that way also you can do. But when you are dealing with the multiple regression, you have to conclude this way. I will stop sharing and I will share the PPT. In this way, you have to conclude. So for multiple regression, you have to see R square, adjust R square. All these things should be greater than 7. If it is there, then your model is good for fit. And then F value should be greater than 10. That means it is further interpretation that this independent variables are highly interrelated. All the independent variables are having a high impact on the dependent variable. Like that, you can interpret. Now, is it clear? I worked out one sample data, and for your references, I gave the another data also. Okay, if time permits, you people can work out by today night or tomorrow morning, whenever you are free. See, can you tell me here which is the dependent variable, which is the independent variable? They are given the literacy rate
Literacy
of.
rate is the dependent variable.
Very good, ma'am. Very good, ma'am.
Sir,
Literacy rate is. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Literacy rate is a dependent variable. It's depend upon three independent variable. Depend upon how many people will read the newspaper, how many
radios, and
people will
TV
read
sets.
radios, TV set. So like now you can enter this data and you can try, and then you can give an interpretation also. And this is one data I gave you for your trying. And then another thing. Suppose, sir, this is my model. Now see, this is a model which I prepared for my paper and it is published. See, the accessibility of the cab service in Bangalore depend upon various independent factors, like price. During the peak time, the price of the cab service will be very high. And sometimes during the peak time, the cab service will not be available. Like a Friday weekend and Monday morning, very difficult. And the payment option, either you can pay through cash or Paytm. Safety, it's depend upon the location. Comfort, facilities, time management. So there are 7 independent variable where accessibility of cab service depend upon all these 7 independent variable. Now, the way how I asked the question is, I have just gone through the ordinal scale. Okay, how about the satisfaction level of the accessibility of the cab service? Highly satisfied, satisfied, moderate, dissatisfied, highly dissatisfied. And independent variable also the same category I had asked. Okay, and for this only, I think I had asked one. That is, when I whatever the data set that I sent, in that data set, one Excel sheet will be their accessibility of the cab service. Did everyone has checked that data? I will show that. Yes, this is the data sheet that I had already sent. Everyone, I think everyone has got this data sheet, right? This is the data sheet about the particular model, research model. See, accessibility of the cab service, not the CAN service, it is cab service, depend upon 7 independent factors like price, payment, availability, security. Now this is the data. This 1, 2 and all indicate how many people said highly satisfied. For price, 9 people said highly satisfied, 10 people. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people said satisfied, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 people said moderate, and 1 the SPSS. This data you can enter in the SPSS. Okay, price. Just a minute. In the SPSS, you can type price of the cab service, value label, and label name. Value you can give 1 highly satisfied, 2 satisfied, 3 moderate, 4 dissatisfied, 5 highly dissatisfied. Like that you can give, and
Sir,
then
can
like
you
that you
repeat
can.
it?
Which one, ma'am?
Sir, the SPSS table format.
SPSS table format. Wait, just a minute. I'll stop sharing this. I have not received data. I had sent the data, sir. You will get it. See the regression analysis. This is the regression analysis, ma'am. This in the variable view. I'm just typing now. Price.
Yeah.
Price of the cab service. And now here we need to
Sir,
give the value.
screen
Why?
is not
Because
visible.
now you can give 1
No, sir, it is
highly
processing.
satisfied, 2
Yes, sir.
dissatisfied, sorry, satisfied, 3 moderate, add, 4 dissatisfied. I just mentioned the short form. and 5 highly dissatisfied. So like that, you need to nominate now, and here you need to change the scale as nominal scale. Like that, you can type availability, time, payment method, security, comfort service, accessibility of the cab service. After typing all those things, after giving the values, and you have to choose everything as a nominal scale and go to the data view. Here you will get the variables name, right? Like a price, price. So before one instruction I want to give, see, before entering the 111222, ensure that this value labels icon should be disabled first. Now it is enabled. First disable, remove that. Then you type, sir, 10 people said satisfied. Up to 10, type 11111. And 5 people said satisfied. Up to 15, you have to type 22. And again, 4 people said moderate. Type 4 people as 333. Next, 4 people said dissatisfied. 4 people. And 1 people said highly dissatisfied. After entering the data, after entering all the data, then you enable this value label. Then you will get this. Otherwise, with enabling this value label, and if you are entering this, when you enter one, it will show like this, which one you want to select. So one by one, you need to select. Better what you do is, before entering the value, disable this. Enter the value 11122233 like that. And after entering the value for price, availability, cab service, comfort service, payment method, after that, at the end, you can give this, you make this value label enable, so that it will display here. Now you can go to the analyze, regression, linear regression. Now you can choose dependent variable is what? Accessibility of the cab service, right? Accessibility of the cab service. So you can choose the accessibility of the cab service and click this arrow mark, it will come here. Next, you can choose all the 7 independent variable, click this arrow mark, it will come here, and do the remaining thing, rest of the things as it is what I did, so that you will get the output and you can interpret. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Very good, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
And you can refer these articles also for more interpretation for regression analysis.
Sir, there is a question, sir. Ordinal scale, can
sir.
you explain, sir?
Sir, ordinal scale is like a rating and ranking scale, sir. For example, you are asking me to rate from 1 to 5. Okay, 1 to 5, like higher than, less than, or excellent, poor, or greater than, less than, more than, like that is called ordinal scale. When your variables, when in the variables, when your attributes is depend upon like this, you are asking, sir, rate the following factors from most likely to likely, or less likely, or not at all. That is comes under the ordinal scale. More than, greater than, less than, that comes under the ordinal scale. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask one question, sir. I wanted to ask, can we prefer data as nominal scale to get analysis even if it is ordinal, so that we get better analysis? Same thing as nominal, we can label or not. Can we do this?
I can't get you, ma'am.
Sir, like if we are valuing the data as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in scale,
Yes.
can we use either of the ordinal or nominal?
No, ma'am. When you're asking the questionnaire from 1 to 5 and mentioning that 1 is most likely and 5 is not likely, mean you have to use ordinal only.
Oh, okay, sir.
Any other doubts, Professor?
You are not giving the attributes, complete attribute. When you are giving a complete attributes, when you are giving a complete attributes, like 1 is highly satisfied, 2, you are giving attributes like 5-point scale, 7-point scale, and all. You are mentioning all the scales, the name for all the scales. 7-point Likert scale means you are mentioning highly satisfied, satisfied, moderate, dissatisfied, highly dissatisfied, like that. In that case, you need to use nominal. Whereas in ordinal, you are mentioning only the greater and the lesser, the lower limit and the higher limit, the lower value and higher value. Only you are mentioning the name of the attributes at one end, left hand and the right hand. That's it. In that case, you have to use ordinal. Don't use nominal. Is it clear, ma'am, now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine, ma'am. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir,
So,
sir,
yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
sir, there are some
Yes.
options given in the analysis part, like plot, statistics. Sir, can you please explain what we have to choose from there, sir?
Sir, we have to choose adjusted R square and unstandardized coefficient. Only those things we need to choose, sir. And if you want to get a histogram plot also, you can choose. It's depend upon how you want to interpret for your data that you collected for your paper, because it's depend upon the paper. For example, if you are from science or technical background, you can you can represent the data in terms of a histogram or normal plot, how your variables or data are distributed. But for social science research, interpretation is very important. For interpretation, R square, adjusted R square, F value. These four are very, very important. And again, in regression analysis, apart from interpretation, I want to give the interpretation through the equation also. And through the equation, I want to prove that this variable is having a high multicoordinality with a different variable. In that case, you can choose a third table where you can have a beta coefficient value, right? I told you, right? Y equal to this value plus this value into the independent variable plus that value into the other independent variable. Like that also you can interpret. So interpretation it's depend upon user. Okay, depend upon the way how you want to interpret for your research paper. It is not that for every research paper you have to interpret like this. Okay, but if you are choosing multiple regression, this is a way to interpret. And if you want to go for linear regression, you can reference it in terms of equation, and you can say that which independent is having a highly interrelated with the dependent variable. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Very good, very good. Thank you, sir. So you can refer this articles for interpretation. So with this, we come to an day one. So I hope I just, yes, sir.
Sir, I think the session is more clear. If there is any questions, you can send it across, no problem at all. I request people to give some feedback on the day one program, so that if there is any, challenges which we can recover in the next day. But technical issues is not under our control. We assure you the maximum care we are taking to deliver the content.
Otherwise, there is no problem, sir.
Yeah. And people
Easy to follow.
Till you get a e-certificate, kindly refer the group, because whatever the message we are sending here, that is not for us, but it is for you. But if you are not getting email, not getting materials on time, that is a hiccup in the program when you are attending it. So this time also we sent a form 2 days back for collecting your mail IDs, but very few of them left. So don't be like this. A feedback form will be sent at the end of the session. Those who fill the feedback form will get the certificate. Because if you are not filling on time, it is a double work for us. So kindly try to understand, from organizer side also. Video, ma'am, I will send at the end of the 5th day, so that I can send you the same link. Single link, you can get everything. Fine. I thank everyone for attending the program. We will meet tomorrow on the same time. Good night. Thank you.
So is there any link for today's program, sir? For today's feedback, is there any link?
Link in the sense, ma'am, every day we will send one Zoom link. With that, you can join in the class.
Oh, joining only, you are saying. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. At the end of the last class, we will be sending you a Google form link for feedback and certification process.
Okay. Thank you.
Hope it is clear. Yeah. Fine. Thank you all. Good night.
Good night, sir.